if they were at full strength, I just look at the Mets and I look at the Phillies, and I think pitching-wise, they're a bad matchup for the Cardinals when they have just a ton of right-handed firepower. I think the Cardinals are a very good team, and if you want to do the whole power rankings thing, I think they're certainly a top 10 team, if not a top 5 team in all of baseball. I just think in this random year, you have 3 teams in the National League that I think it's fair to say are better. Now maybe since the All-Star break and the trade deadline, the Cardinals are right with them. But the Cardinals are a very good team, but you're also going to have to probably beat either Padres or Phillies just to get to a Mets, and then beat the Mets to most likely get to a Dodgers or Braves. And that's a very tall order. So the Cardinals, I think, are very good, but there's a lot of other teams that are right with them or a little better in the National League. So it's going to be fun, but I don't think the Cardinals should be the favorite, but they're a team that I would not count out whatsoever.
You getting excited there, Sir Nathaniel? Your Cardinal team that you know and love so much?
I'm excited for them to play good teams again, San Diego and Los Angeles, because there were a handful of series that the Cardinals were playing. Even if they weren't the best teams, they're not as dreadful as Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. And it's just hard to get inspired to even watch those games, albeit there were some really solid performances tucked in there, too. I don't know if you can overlook what Dakota Hudson did either on Saturday, the first of that doubleheader. He was nothing short of brilliant. And that's huge for him because now his last 2 starts, I know a couple were in Memphis, but, there's still a month to go here. And with the way that the starting pitching's been a little shaky, if Dakota emerges, you just never know. So I'm more inclined to look at the pitching at this time of year. I think the offense is going to be just fine. I was looking up the splits for Nootbaar. His home-road splits are staggering. He has not hit the ball well at home. He's done very well on the road. And if Arenado and Goldie aren't hitting, you really need those complementary players to step up and find their bats. But I think you're going to see an inspired team get after it on Tuesday in San Diego.
I agree with you on everything you just said. Dakota, people were writing him off. Right?
Oh, my God.
People were writing Dakota off. Like, guys coming back from the surgery he had sometimes aren't the same the first year. People forget how good he was. And if he can be Dakota, he's in your starting rotation going forward. I don't know about this year, but also Hicks goes out, right, with dead arm and neck, and Matz comes in and pitches well. I think the bullpen lines up pretty good. Gio's throwing a slider again effectively. You look at what other teams can bring out of the bullpen. I don't know if that matches up. I agree about the offense. Newt's been so good defensively. You want him out there regardless, right? Mm-hmm. But I agree. Like yesterday's lineup, you look at what the Cardinals had in there, resting guys. But the bottom of the lineup, that scares you, for the playoffs if you need all those guys. But we have seen Yachty emerge, which lengthens your lineup. Pujols certainly is a force to be dealt with. I think offensive, and I do think Arenado and Goldie will break out in a big way. So I just like the Cardinals' chances, although your point about, or Charlie's point about having to get through a gauntlet, there's no question about that. But I do think they're better in San Diego. I think they're better than the Phillies. Atlanta's a really good team, and the Dodgers are a really good team.
So that's where, I think early on in the year, I looked at this team when it was starting rotation-wise. For a while there, it was Waino, Michaelis, and you were hoping to get a healthy Jack Flaherty back early on in the season. You said, hey, if all 3 of those dudes are rocking and rolling, you liked them in a playoff series if you could run out 3 really good starting pitchers. Over the course of the season, and then they added, obviously, Quintana and Montgomery, I now look at the Cardinals differently, where I think they now have great rotation depth. So they have a team that should be able to get through a 162-game regular season and be a really good, whatever it is, pushing 95-win team. My concern now is more so, again, you're just looking at matching up versus a Braves versus a Mets. And while I love the Cardinals' starting rotation depth, if you're a gambling person and you match up some of these names versus Scherzer, DeGrom, Bassett, repeat, I mean, you're facing Hall of Fame Cy Young guys. Even though Michaelis, Quintana, Wainwright, whatever Flaherty is, you're facing dudes who
big
literally
boys.
are the best pitchers of their generation.
Yeah, it's like that team facing us in the alumni camp. Somebody's got a question. Exactly right. Jackie Boy's got a question for you, Kat. Is Danny Mack quitting Bally's? I just saw his Twitter post. He better not be. Find that mug, by the way, Sethy Boy, please. See what his Twitter post says.
What?
I didn't say it. Jack said it. He said that Danny Mack posted something. Let's check it out. Let's vet and verify. We are Hot Take Central, okay? Let's see what's up. Because I like playing his, his
I know
calls.
there was some talk that he was going to be appointed as border czar.
Oh,
but I don't know.
wow. That'd be cool. What do you do with that? Just sit there and do nothing? That's kind of nice. Sign me up. Like
Hold on,
Lieutenant
let me
Governor.
look.
What do we got?
Let me look and see what.
Gio chimes back in and goes, I think the real question is, will Aaron Judge get the Triple Crown? He's 0.0% points off having the first place average. I don't know. Big stud he is. Dangerous, but averaging 2 runs per game in the past week. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so if this is it. Life goes on. Players come and go. So do announcers. It's simple. I do appreciate your kind words. My guess is that
Who's he talking to on there? It's kind of cryptic.
It's talking to Noah.
my
What's
guess,
Noah
my
saying?
guess is that people giving Danny all the credit for the great run and framing it perfectly, which is accurate. He was basically saying, "I'm just an announcer."
Okay.
I could be wrong.
His next response was, "I'm not leaving, and I hope I'm not dying unless you know more than me."
Okay. Well, there you have it. There you have it. He's there. We're going to be listening to him every morning with the, any home run. We're going to listen to his call. He ain't going anywhere. It's all good.
So the rumors were border czar or his own cooking show.
Oh.
Because he can whip up a delicious goulash, but I don't think either one of those.
Yeah, there it is.
I would go cooking show, personally.
Let's see.
Danny Mack has done an unbelievable job. As great as we've seen so many wonderful moments, Danny has framed them all beautifully. Really part of the story now, in my opinion.
Okay. St. Louis is the most unfaithful city in the United States, according to divorce and all that stuff.
Really?
Yes. Yes. That's what I read. St. Louis. Isn't that weird?
St. Louis City.
For divorce?
Damn it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. St. Louis, though. Dang, D-Dog. You dogs out there.
How do you find that out?
Man, I read it somewhere, but I'm not. See, Nate could have something. He knows how to, look at the article and then print it out. I'm not good. Man, who knows
So
where I
divorce
found that?
rates per capita?
Yeah, I guess so. Interesting. We're Midwest, too. You would think it'd be like New York or L.A.
Well, hey,
Nah.
as bad as that sounds, we're no longer #1 in murders. My buddy,
that's cool.
They sent me that New Orleans passed us.
I
So-
saw that.
New Orleans.
So there we go, guys.
New Orleans is hardcore now, dude. I mean, it's always been hardcore.
Dude, they profiled. You guys ever watch that Drugs Inc.?
Yeah,
No.
sir.
All right. Do you think that's all real or?
Well,
Because they're interviewing these guys
I
who are
know.
allegedly part of these massive drug.
I know. And their face is showing.
Well, they're
Some of them
they're
are.
blurred out, but
But you're still rolling the dice with that. You don't think some of those homies are like, I know that face. Even if it's blurred out, I know that dude and he owes me money. And now he's ratting us out. It is kind of bizarre.
when they do the long specials on Mardi Gras or different parties down in New Orleans, and the amount of drugs that flow into that city for a weekend like that,
Yeah, dude.
it's
All over the
really
place.
something.
So I could just tell you, spitballing here. If I were a businessman and I was doing something illicit and I wanted to fly under the radar, I probably wouldn't appear in a show calling attention to it. But that's just me.
I know.
He wouldn't be on National Geographic.
Yeah. I mean, that's just, we're just spitballing.
Cam,
That's
you
fair.
teased this a little last Friday, but give me your deep dive thoughts on the Yellowstone supervolcano. I don't know, man. We're all dead if it goes off. If it goes off and it builds up, we're all dead.
What is it?
What is it?
The supervolcano underneath Yellowstone. It's full of magma. Huge. The biggest, probably, it's one of the biggest in the world.
Liquid hot magma.
Magma piled up down underneath Yellowstone. And it went off about, a million years ago or whatever. And they say it's kind of due and it's boiling up and da-da-da.
Are the buffaloes running?
I mean,
that's a sure sign that things are not going well. If the Buffaloes start roaming out of their own territory.
Okay. They'll sense something.